we go. Let's go ahead and do a disturbing movie recap on Perfect Blue. And as always, spoilers ahead. So the film opens up and we meet Mima. And Mima's an idol singer, a part of this group called Cham, but she's currently at their concert announcing her retirement from the group. Now, she's retiring from the group because she's going to pursue a career in acting. And fans aren't happy that she's leaving, so they start getting a little disrespectful and they start throwing things at her. But there's a real creepy fan in the crowd named Mima, and he defends her and tells the people throwing things at her to stop throwing things at her. And Mima looks at him, she thanks him, she's gracious, and Mima takes this as a sign as, oh, she's in love with me. Now, it's really Mima's agency and agent who are pushing her to become an actress because they have her convinced that this is what's best for her career, but really they believe she'll make more money being an actress. Now, Mima also has a manager, Rumi, who used to be an idol singer back in the day, and she is against Mima becoming an actress because she believes she'll get exploited by this industry. Now, this is a weird transition in Mima's life because we can tell that she still wants to be a singer, but she's doing this acting thing to better her career. However, weird things start happening to the girl. Like, people are calling her, but they're not saying anything on the other line. She's getting these faxes sent over to her calling her a traitor, and she's starting to feel like she's being watched. She's also getting these letters from fans, hate mail, that type of deal. And in one of these letters, it says, hey, I love watching you on Mima's Room. So we find out that Mima's Room is this whole blog website dedicated to detailing everything Mima has done throughout her day. What she bought at the grocery store, which foot she stepped with first to get onto the subway, like the whole thing is creepy. And the year is 1997, so Mima doesn't know much about the internet or blogs. This is all new to her. And there's somebody writing entries pretending to be Mima, and Mima's looking at this talking about, who is this person? Because it sure ain't me. Now after this, we see Mima on set for her first acting role. Now, this is supposed to jumpstart her career, but homegirl only got one line, and that line is, who are you? Now, while she's on set, we see that she's getting fan mail delivered to her, but her agent decides to take the mail and open it up for her, but this fan mail explodes, and there's a letter in there talking about, warning, the next time will be real. This is where things start to get a little bit confusing because we see Mima start to lose it. We can't tell if things are really happening to her or these are just things that she's seeing. She's paranoid and she keeps seeing glimpses of Mima, but we don't know if he's really there or not. And don't forget, we know somebody's watching her because there's a whole website dedicated to her every move. Now, Mima's agent was able to get Mima more lines in the TV show that she's doing, getting her a bigger role. However, she has to do a scene where she's getting sexually assaulted. Now, Rumi is against this. She looks at Mima and she's like, girl, don't do this. This is why I told you not to be an actress. But Mima believes this is what's best for her career. And it doesn't help that her old group, Cham, just went #1 without her, proving that they're better as a duo than a trio. Mima says yes to doing the scene. But the scene takes a toll on her because they have to do different takes, different angles, like she has to do it over and over again. And after the filming, it seems like she's okay, but she goes home and sees that all her fish have died, and this sends her over the edge and she has a meltdown. She's going through it. She's grateful that her team got her a bigger role, but at the same time, she's like, I wasn't ready for that. Why did I do it? And she keeps repeating the line, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? She's having this meltdown. The next thing you know, she sees herself, the idol version of herself, standing right in front of her. Now the girl's really losing it, because now we got two Mimas. You got the real Mima and you got the fake Mima. And the fake Mima is trying to convince the real Mima that she's actually the real Mima. We're confused. The next thing you know, we see the fish tank and we realize the fishes are still alive. They ain't dead. Now Mima is suffering from identity crisis, especially since she keeps seeing this version of herself being the version she actually wants to be, which is an idol singer. And things get bad because she starts obsessing over the Mima's Room website. She starts believing what's written on there. And guess who's running this website? Emania's creepy self. He's running the website. And after this, we see one of the writers from the show. And he's the writer that wrote that essay scene. And he's in a parking garage and somebody takes him out. Then Mima has a photo session with this photographer. And he's really creepy and he takes inappropriate photos of her. Now, Mimania sees these photos. They're published and he doesn't like these photos. So here's where we get really confusing. Mimania gets convinced by the fake Mima to take out the real Mima. Fake Mima's like, I don't know who this girl is, and she's making me look bad. That little hussy. Mimania, get rid of her. Meanwhile, Mima is suffering from full psychosis. We're confused too. We don't know if she's dreaming, she's in a scene for a TV show. Like, it keeps going back and forth, and we're lost on what's real and what's not really real. We see Mima having a conversation with Rumi, and she's confused if that conversation is actually happening, so she breaks her glass and cuts her hand to make sure she's actually in the present moment. So then we cut back to the creepy photographer, and we see somebody taking him out, and we get a glimpse of this somebody, and that somebody looks like Mima. And when Mima hears the news of the photographer's passing, she believes she did it because she finds bloody clothes in her house. So it's time for Mima to film the final scene of the TV show. And it's ironic that the TV show also has a character that has dissociative identity disorder, because that's what we think Mima is suffering from. But then we see Mimania showing up onto the set. He's there to take out Mima because the fake Mima told him to do so, but he's unsuccessful and the real Mima takes out Mimania. Mima's distraught, she runs into Rumi, she tries to show Rumi Mimania's body, but the body's missing, but Rumi's like, "It's okay, girl, I'll take you back to Mima's room." Rumi takes Mima back to her place, and it looks like her place and it feels like her place, but then Mima looks at the fish tank and sees that there's fishes still alive. And Mima catches on that this is not her place. And that's when we see Rumi walk out dressed like Mima. She's even talking like her too. Mima didn't take out nobody. Those bloody clothes that she found were from that night when she broke her hand, not from murder she thought she committed. Rumi was behind everything. This was all a part of her master plan. She took people out, she recruited Mimania like she was the one behind all of this. Now Rumi suffers from dissociative identity disorder, and she really believes her alternate persona is actually the real Mima, and she wants to take over Mima's life. And this is all because Rumi is mad that Mima didn't want to be an idol no more. So her plan was to take out Mima and replace her and go back to being an idol. Rumi is ready to finish out her plan, so she starts chasing Mima to take her out. She's chasing her, and then there's this truck and there's headlights, and these headlights make Rumi feel like she's on stage, so she stops in front of the truck. She's about to get hit, but Mima pushes her out the way. And we think there that everything's fine, like things should go back to normal. The movie ends with Mima being a very successful actress, and we see her visiting Rumi at a mental institution. The doctors tell Mima that Rumi hasn't learned much and she still believes that she's an idol singer. Mima leaves, she gets into her car, she looks into the mirror, and she says, "I'm the real deal. I'm the real Mima." But we hear her saying this in Rumi's voice. The end.